question is directed either to the gentleman from TSA or the gentleman who represents FBI. I presume that you're monitoring the darknet in regard to counterfeit IDs. If so, does it concern you that more and more counterfeit ID vendors are featuring testimonials of people who have successfully gone through TSA using counterfeit IDs?
Actually, that's a good point. One of the challenges that we face in aviation security, which is what you're talking about, is ensuring that the individual who presents themselves is in fact the person that they claim to be. That's a lot more challenging than one might think at times. So an ID is one component of that. Another component of that is other verifications that happen as your name gets tumbled. So when you make a reservation for a flight now, you go into something called the Secure Flight System, and that is a system that bounces your name against databases of interest. So that's one way in which we begin to look to see whether this is a name of some concern. Ideally, then, when you present yourself, you present an ID that we try to validate as a real ID, as a valid ID, and we try to connect that to the individual. The challenge right now is that we don't currently have all the systems in place we need to verify the validity of that ID. We've been working very closely with FBI and with vendor people like Bob and others to begin to think about how do you actually ensure yourself that this ID is not a counterfeit and the like. We're getting much better at that, and we've got some pilot systems out there that do that, but it has to be part of a larger system. It doesn't stand by itself. As you know, many of you are used to walking up to the guy who just scribbles all over your boarding pass and he holds your ID underneath an ultraviolet light. That is not the most effective way of determining whether or not somebody's ID is valid. So we have to do it. We're working on additional things. We're actually working very closely with some of the airlines themselves, because if you think about it, they've got those kiosks everywhere that read IDs. CBP does that. And so I think that what I hope to see over the coming months is a dramatic improvement in our ability to validate, because you point up a very real concern. It's a number one issue. You want to find out that the person who presents himself is in fact that person, so you can determine whether or not they're somebody of interest or concern.
Just a very quick follow-on to that. How long before, for average